Oh, I am excited about this episode today over self-talk, what it is, why it's important, and how we are going to start training it in this episode here today. If you are new here, my name is Gabe Rummel. I am the founder of The Athlete's Health, creator of our 3C Phronoic frameworks, our training, and this mental performance playbook podcast, where we are breaking down elite mental strategies and delivering them in actionable exercises for athletes to apply immediately, and more so for the parents or the coach or whoever else is supporting them to learn the mental game and figure out, oh, this is what this is. This is why it's so important and how they can help train it up, because that is what we are doing. We use mental exercises and rep out the mental exercises in school and games, obviously, and practices ultimately to use in games and level up the performance, get more wins under that belt. With that said, today's topic, very important one that some people, including myself, don't always talk about. Sometimes I put self-talk on the back burner, but through different reasons, different recent events, I am bringing it back out. I'm pulling it up, putting it on our episode here. And before we get into it, my only ask is, if you like this show, please give it the 5 stars, subscribe to it, and share it. Share the show so people can see it and we can grow. With that said, Gabe Rummel, let's break this down. So number 1, self-talk. We need to realize the number of thoughts that are actually happening for the athlete, for any of us. You can do a Google search on this. You're going to see a lot of different stats. You're going to see anything from, first off, guess how many thoughts we have. Go ahead, give it a thought. You are going to see anything from 6,000 to 60,000 plus thoughts a person has per day. We don't realize that. We do not realize that we are having this many thoughts, but these thoughts either help us or hurt us. There's no real in between. We are going to dichotomize that as they're either helping us grow or they're killing us. And I think like a tree, you're either growing or you're dying. Even in winter, a tree's roots continue to grow. So we're thinking, we got this or we suck. That's what athlete that you know is thinking. And that's what they're constantly thinking. It constantly comes back to that. The constant comparison of, are we better or not? Or how we are doing this compared to them. What is wanted from us? These are the constant comparisons. So what we want to first off start to have created with this self-talk and the number of thoughts that one has is, first off, our mountain goal, right? Our crazy, crazy big goal. Other people might think it's crazy. They might laugh in our face, whatever the case is. We want to make sure we have that. So set the mountain goal. If you're not familiar with that, go back, look through some of our content, look keyword search on our episodes on our platform here, mountain goal. The mountain goal is a crazy big goal for us to reach. And that's where we're going to start. But now we have to get up there, and we're going to set guardrails on us to make sure we're taking the path that is straight up, or at least as straight up as it can be. And we're not branching off into all these other sides, starting to do a loop or starting to go back down, because that is what the self-talk will do, especially if we are not paying attention, controlling, or noticing what those 60,000 thoughts are. Point number 2 is the lens. And I've already actually hinted on this some, but the lens is always there. We are always perceiving what is happening with our self-talk and our self-talk lens. And a lot of times, this is going to be fog rolling in. And what I mean by this is, picture that we are putting on sunglasses. And as soon as you put on sunglasses, especially the athlete, because the athletes are always going to be wearing them, they're looking cool, they're looking sharp, they're looking fly, everything goes darker, everything changes. But if you've ever noticed this, when you keep sunglasses on, for so long, it's the new norm. You actually take them off and you're like, oh wow, whoa. Okay, this is how stuff really is. That is what is actually happening with our self-talk, especially if we are not controlling it. See, the sunglasses get noticed at first. That self-talk, it might be noticed at first, but then it goes away. As in the noticing it goes away. It is just what is commonly there. And it's a dirty lens. The sunglasses even have some scrubs on them, some scratches, some watermarks. But that is what they're seeing everything through. That's a self-talk storm that's not even known is there. This lens is dirty. The self-talk lens, what we're saying to ourselves over and over again is not going to be the best things that we could say. It's not going to be the most encouraging. And you might even think, well, for some, isn't that fine? Like, isn't like think Kobe Bryant, isn't that what he did? Like he was not always encouraging to himself. Yes and no. See, he knew that lens though, and he knew how to work with it and take those sunglasses off and see everything for what it really is and what he needs to do to stay in the guardrails and keep going towards the mountain goals that he had. As that brings us into point number 3, the subconscious iceberg. See, you can look this up. You can Google the subconscious iceberg. Well, the thoughts that we know are the tip of the iceberg. But then if you look at any pictures of icebergs, how the iceberg is so much bigger underwater. That's really what our subconscious and just our thoughts in general are doing. At the top are the thoughts that we are noticing, what are telling ourselves, what's keeping us going. That's what all the self-talk is. But the bottom part of that iceberg, that is all the self-talk, all that subconscious piece, that dirty lens that we don't know about, that is still telling us what is doing, that is programming us, that is training us, as perceiving everything. And if you want a way to think about this, well, how does all that ice get there for that iceberg? Well, what's actually happening is as we are going up towards that mountain goal and the fog is rolling in, right? It's getting unclear, it's getting foggy, that lens. Well, what else is happening is eventually a storm comes rolling in, and that storm is just hail and it's sleet and it's slamming on you, especially as as your athlete, as they keep continuing up the path and they're getting further along. Well, now all of a sudden that's more pressure, higher altitude. It's more things thrown at them. It's this hail. And this is that self-talk, like, are we really good enough for this stage? Can we handle it? And even though they might be like, no, we got this. Like, let's go. I have worked with the top high school athletes. I've worked with college athletes and talked to them. And I have talked to professional athletes. And at every stage, there is this separation, the dichotomization in their thoughts of they might be perceived as confident. And they might still think that, but then there's some pieces on the back end that we got to figure out and we got to tweak and we got to twist and turn and change up because it's not full confident. It's the hail, the sleet just slamming on them. And before you know it, before we switch the language and switch to this daily process and winning, that is what's being focused on. Because it's just, it keeps slamming and it hurts, but you almost become numb to it. It's all the ice there. What's being focused on? It's like that common social media buzzword, the RAS, the reticular activating system of, oh, you don't notice anything before you start to pay attention to it. And now you notice all the cars around you. That's basically what the RAS, the RAS system does. But I realize people don't know that, don't understand it, or have not heard of it before because I've had some mentors ask me about it. But yeah, that's what's happening with that. Let's go into, please, some exercises around this. And I laid out 3 steps for this. And they are slightly separate exercises, but we have to make sure that we're following these steps to make the most of it and make it happen. So step number 1, like many of our steps, is that awareness piece. We will help our athletes if we can help them become aware. And it might take more than, hey, are you noticing the things that you aren't saying to yourself? Okay, yeah, I mean, that's not going to work very well. But what we can do, how we can actually help them, how you can help an athlete become more aware, even if you're an athlete listening to this, you can do this with yourself or with your other teammates, because you are probably one of the leaders on your team if you're getting the mental side of your game trained up, is use questions over statements. Questions or cues, greater than equal sign, I mean, just greater than sign, no equals statements. Because that gets them thinking about this, about what they are saying to themselves. It's no longer you telling them that, and they don't want it to believe it. They don't want you to see that you saw that in them and not them themselves. So they're going to actually shut that out if you use statements. But when we use questions, we prime it out of them. And all of a sudden they're thinking about it and they're pondering it. And they might not say it, especially, if it's the high school boy or girl with the mom or dad. Yeah, they're probably not going to give you credit. If it's with one of our coaches, I mean, then we get a little more credit. But the question pulls it out of them. And then they know, and they can at least do something with it because they are aware. Step number one. Step number two is once we become aware, we can start to switch the language. We cannot switch the language if we don't know what language we are using in the first place. So we have to switch the language and switch this on a process, on a daily process, and with the daily wins, and show that it's actually working. Show what is working, why it's working, and stick to it too. We have to make sure that we're sticking to it when we switch this process because we're aware now. Now we're going to start the switch and then we are going to program it. We're going to train it. Now that we have the switch in action, that's when we got to do it. Time in, time out, catch it. If we catch it, scribble that up, throw it away, train it the right way. Do it the right way. Say what we need to say, catch what we need to catch. Put all these in the perspectives of the performance and start noticing the thoughts. I wrote this down. Don't notice until we do. If we start noticing, we then do. And what I mean by this, as we come to a culmination here in this episode, is that our athletes, they're not going to notice the self-talk until it is pointed out, until something happens, or for some other reason, someone else tells them, or they want that edge. They're not going to notice the self-talk until that moment when they do. But once we start noticing, we start that climb and we start noticing more. And all of a sudden, the curtain is pulled back and we see the secrets behind ourselves. That is this power of self-talk and the parts of what we walked through and highlighted of the number of thoughts that are happening, of the lens and how we don't even notice it's on there anymore. And that's just how we go through the process. And subconscious iceberg with the hailstorm that eventually happens, we don't notice until either that pain or the lens becomes more foggy or something pulls that curtain back. Hopefully this video pulls that curtain back for you to help out an athlete that you know to come check out some training with us at TAH. Check out a free or a mental training session where you can get credited for actual packages or a TAH, the Athlete's Health Noack Gym membership. We would love to do training with you. Otherwise, I hope you found this episode useful and you can use some of this. And once again, my name is Gabe Rummel. Please, if you like this, share it with someone, and then you might as well follow along, give it a 5-star review too. But we will catch you next week on the Mental Performance Playbook here. Thanks again. Peace.